Welcome in, welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique Seahawks preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Clinton Bonner. I'm coming in hot from Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's right, the UM, the number 2 in the country, University of Michigan, because I'm out on a little work trip. I'll be heading out to Seattle on Sunday. I'm fired up. But you can find me on Twitter at Clinton Bond. And you know I am joined by the one, the only, the great Brandon Schultz. And find him on Twitter at SeahawkersPod. There he is, shooting McGavin style. She's shooting him up. And we have, of course, this could not be, it would not be, this. We can't traverse the multiverse in Seahawks What If without the protector of the multiverse himself, Mr. Phil Leidick. Gentlemen, we're coming in after a big W. I don't care that we won by a little, we won by a lot. Don't matter none. We won down in LA. Now we got a pretty feisty Panthers team that might be, up for a little scratch here, fellas. So once again, my nerves, they're not calmed. I think I'm in this electrical valency state that I'll be in until the season ends, hopefully with a Lombardi and draft number 32 overall and number 2 overall. But until 31, we get there, 31, why not 32?
There's a deleted first round draft pick. You may remember.
Oh. Look at you. Very nice. 31.
I don't like the sound of 31. It makes me nervous. It makes me feel like.
Remember 30? What team doesn't get their draft pick?
Somebody got fined or booted, or who was it?
Was it the Dolphins?
Yes, the Dolphins.
Did they lose their first over the whole Brady stuff?
Let's see.
Tampering. Did they tamper?
Yes, I was trying to find the story here, but you have selected accurately.
That's it. You've chosen wisely. So they've tampered, and now they get punished. And the biggest punishment they really should be dealt is the fact that they've removed a perfectly great helmet, where they had a dolphin who had a helmet on the dolphin's head, and now they just have this whale-looking dolphin, which is just stupid. So they should be punished. We'll be drafting 31st and number 2. Because that's spicy and we're fired up for that. But boys, let's, before we get into all this, Brandon, how are you did the flagship pod with Adam. How are you feeling about these feisty Panthers in general, dude? Like I'm still nervous. Are you still coming in nervous after the last game?
You guys were everywhere. You guys were everywhere, Brandon.
We were everywhere.
You had me convinced of anything happening in this game.
We were riding the roller coaster of emotions from the Rams game and continuing it on into this Carolina Panthers game, because I think this could go really any way, but it should go the way that the Seahawks win decisively if I join Team Clinton in do not defer, and the Seahawks get the ball first, and they get multiple scores and take out the running game for the Panthers, and we get the easy win.
Wow, Bill, what do you think? I want them over. Look at this.
I know. I think I'm sticking with Adam on this one. I don't stick with Adam on a lot of things, but I think Adam is right on the genius of. There's just a lot of strategies to be employed when you can earn that second half kickoff. But I totally see where it's coming from. I understand where it's coming from. The never defer, take the kickoff. That's what they used to do when we were little, right? Everybody, if you want the snap, we're going to receive the ball. We can get it. Yeah.
You want the hassle back. That's it.
The thing is, though, the whole strategy behind that, it completely goes away. If the Carolina Panthers receive the football down 3 touchdowns to start the third quarter, it doesn't matter.
I like that. Can you guarantee that, Brandon? Can you guarantee that?
I can't guarantee that we get the ball first.
Oh, but you.
But
always evasive.
Yeah, right. He answers the questions he wants to answer, like the fine politician that he is. I am team never defer with this specific team. They should not defer. Take the ball, go up 7-0. Put the pressure on Sam Darnold. Like, don't make Geno have to come back and be like, all right, down 7-0. We all got confidence that Geno will get us back in the game, but why?
You can't say team never defer in this specific game. If your team never defer, you never defer.
I'm never defer with this team.
With the Seahawks team, not just against the Panthers, guys.
Once again, the Goonies, our time down here. Don't defer with this team. Next year, if we draft a little differently and then we beef up the defense a little differently. Sure. Deferring is a perfectly crimilant strategy, but not with this team. Go put 7 up and put pressure on poorer quarterbacks, because very, very few and far between are better than Geno at this point, which is crazy and awesome. All right. So this is What If. Folks who are out there, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Make sure you subscribe and you hit the like, you hit the bell. Everywhere you get an audio, every single podcast stream that's out there, just search Seahawkers podcast, leave the reviews, do the whole thing. It helps a lot. Actually, on YouTube, saw some people like commenting like, I'm just here for the algorithm. You know what? Thank you. It's all good. It all helps. It moves the thing along, and we do appreciate it. So, and it's hey, this again at 7-5. I don't know about you fellas. I'm still like, this is a really fun season. We're at 7-5. We're playing these Panthers. They're kind of feisty. I'm interested in this game, and I can't wait to get out to Lumen Field on Sunday morning and hustle my butt from SeaTac to go north. And I'm just super fired up to get into that environment. I have not been there since 2019.
Whoa,
last game I was at was Thursday Night Football. We were wearing the action greens. Everybody will remember it as the Lockett play. So when Lockett,
I was at that game. Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when I was sitting next to Keith Ketover, Flocktimus Prime, and it was a ball. Hung out with Lisa Carlson, hung out with Ed Essie and others. If I'm forgetting, it was a darn good time. So
the Tedrick Thompson pick game.
That's right. Tedrick. And then what's his face? Greg the Leg missed a last second field goal that would have put him over the top. I think we won 30-28. If my memory is clicking, but it was a good one. So with all that, we are on What If. So what we like to do, we have the previously with the Protector, where we like to look back at not our game, but we look back. Well, Phil does. He looks back at the game that was for the team we're about to play. So Phil, we got these feisty Panthers. What are you seeing? What should we know about them?
I had to go bye week. This is going to be super quick.
I was going to say, you stole my thunder. Yeah. Last week they played nobody. So there we go. That's it. No, actually, I did go into the way back and watched them play the Donkeys, which is like the opposite team of us. So I don't know what kind of parallels can be drawn, but we'll give it a shot. The overall team, they are 1 slot below the Lambs by DVOA. They're 28th. They look better and more determined, especially to run under Steve Wilkes. So there's some improvement if you kind of look overall. Offense, they're fairly healthy, and they're average at running. They're ineffective overall at passing, 30th by DVOA, and it pretty much shows. Darnold looks accurate every once in a while, but something that stands out, he's late and hesitant to throw. And so, he's the guy that's just a hair behind on things. Foreman, he's a decisive power back, and then they have Hubbard, the crafty RB2. They're kind of like a poor man's Thunder and Lightning, if we want to call them that, their running team. DJ Moore, awesome player, of course. So there'd be a parallel from the Raiders a little bit. 103 of their 164 receiving yards went to Moore in that game. Chenault seems like a gadget guy. Maybe that's it seems even if you look over his stats, he's pretty gadgety. Their pass pro was better than I expected against the Donkeys for a lot of the game. After several good runs, finally the Panthers were caught holding in the run game. The Broncos started handling the run game for a while. Then they got after the passer, and what was left of that joke of a pass game was snuffed out. But then Darnold and AJ connected on one huge bomb. Then the Panthers remained steadfast, stubborn in their run game, and they got it going again. The special teams, they're pretty good. They're 8th by DVOA. Hecker's still really good punter. They had a successful fake punt, but then they muffed a punt return and fumbled away a kick return. If it wasn't for that, the Donkeys would have been smoked by even more. Their defense is 21st by DVOA. They have signs of life there. They looked really solid against the Donkeys. Big surprise. Who doesn't, though, right? Burns, of course, is quite scary. Their run D is, I thought they were really undisciplined. They made Murray even look pretty good. Murray had some decent runs, a huge run on him. Their D has some talent, good energy, but they're a bit disorganized. Very good pressure in the passing game throughout. Interior pass pressure and from Burns on the outside. But they did an idiotic roughing the passer penalty on 4th and 20 that kind of gave the Donkeys another chance, which they blew. The result, the announcers sounded like they felt punished for drawing this assignment. I mean, whenever you heard them talk, they didn't feel good about this matchup. The Panther run game terrifies me after watching them go 46 attempts for 185 yards. I mean, they're determined to run. The Donkeys, we know, have a good defense. They kept at it. Any other thoughts about the Panthers besides their run game is scary? You guys agree?
I definitely agree. It is a, their hashtag is keep pounding, right? And the stats don't lie. And I think you framed it up nicely. Like that's what they want to do. And they're actually pretty darn effective at it. And so I know we'll get into all of it, but Brandon, any other takeaways before we do get into our version of this?
Yeah, how nervous were you guys in that Rams game after? Because I brought up the stat last week that the Seahawks were winless when they allowed more than 145 rushing yards. And so when you saw that stat that the Rams had gone over that when they took the lead.
Your stat didn't scare me, Brandon.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I can honestly say I plumb forgot.
No.
Which is another way. So it didn't scare me, but that's because I drink a lot of Diet Coke. And there's,
okay.
Yeah,
it was a great stat. It was a great stat during the show, but once I was watching the game, I mean,
you just knew that the Rams would take the lead and Gino would bail us out and get the win because he's that good.
I knew Gino was going to come back and win when he had the chance, but I was not happy that our defense choked it to where he had to do that. That was really dumb, which had nothing to do with how good their run game was. It was just terrible defense.
Yeah, but nice. But again, the W on the road is a W on the road,
and the defense got fixed since last time they played on Sunday. So
KJ Wright said so, right? KJ Wright on his show was
Did you listen to that show? Boy, that was good.
Yeah, I didn't. I actually ended up listening to Real Hawk Talk talked about it for a while. And
he listened to a guy who listened to the show and heard it was
I could have done that for you on our show. Listen to me who listened to it. Yeah.
Well, the funny part was they were so giddy, like, Real Hawk Talk's like, oh, and KJ's like, they flipped the switch and they went back to the traditional 4-3 stuff. And I'm sitting there going like, yeah, but like it's not like it's the first time we've done that. Like, sure, maybe they went back to it a bit more in the Rams game to start. And they were like, it's still not working, but
can I say the dumbest part? The dumbest part, it was awesome. I mean, his breakdown was awesome, but to say they fixed it when they gave up what would have been a game-winning drive in the fourth quarter, it's hard for me to say, oh yeah, Pete made these adjustments. We fixed it. We shut down this horrible Rams offense. Yay. No, we let Wolford go all the way down the field and take the lead. That's the only bummer. All the other stuff sounded awesome the way KJ broke it down. I mean, you would have been believing if you hadn't watched the game.
Nice. Well, next time I won't stop believing that's for sure, Mr. Phil. And I will listen to KJ Wright. I'm sure I could get him via podcast because I don't think I could, or maybe like an app to go listen to where he's broadcasting.
The KJ Wright show was
he does an hour, right? He does 1 hour. That's his jam. Yeah.
It's on the 7th or the Seattle Sports Radio.
It is now.
The Brock and Salk show. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I think I could procure that through the TuneIn app since I'm typically I'm not in Seattle, but I will be on Sunday. So so we have that. But our boys will be there. Our Hawks will be there. The Panthers will be there. Yes. So, Mr. Phil, that was what was. Let's get on to what is. So,
what if, gentlemen? Do you know what a panther is? Do you know what a panther is, gentlemen?
Yeah, kitty.
It's a kitty.
A jungle cat. It's a leopard without its spots.
That's close. You guys are close. A black panther is the dark color variant of both the leopard and the jaguar. Both of them, but the black panthers of both species have excessive black pigment, but their typical rosettes are still there. If you look close, they look like a black panther from a distance, and they still are. You look close, the rosettes are still there. The circle with the little dots inside, it's just much more black. So all it is they look and call them a panther, but they're just leopards and jaguars, which are both awesome, of course.
Yes.
But on
posers.
Sunday,
so you're saying that they're posers.
They're posers, which could have been the what if. What if they're posers, right?
Well, hold on.
But it's hard to pose as a
wait. Hold on a tick, Brandon. Who are you to say? Maybe the other cats are the posers. I mean, just let's be
okay. But we're playing the Panthers this week, so this week they're the posers.
You have to denigrate them somehow, which is really hard to do with leopards and jaguars. But we're going to
because they're pretty sweet animals. Yeah.
Yes. On Sunday, the beloved Hawks face a team that hopes to once again grow back into becoming mighty Panthers, but this year they've been more like sweet little kittens than big, strong, and terrifying Panthers. But at 4-8, they're still looking to pounce on a division title. This week, the Hawks have invited these kitties across the fruited plain to try and swoop down and smash their fragile postseason hopes. Gentlemen, what if we smash the kitties? What if we smash these kitties? We have three things. Of course, when we're playing the kitties, we have Kitty Hawk, right? Feed the kitty, and here, kitty, kitty, here, kitty, kitty. So it's episode 41. The first question will go to Brandon. Kitty Hawk. It just made a lot of sense. We'd have that category. What's famous about Kitty Hawk, Brandon?
It's a famous aircraft carrier.
The birthplace of flight. Aircraft carrier. I guess the Navy's got to know that. Yeah. The Navy answer. Yeah. Flight started there, right? With the Wright brothers.
Too. Okay, whatever.
That seemed important. Okay, Brandon, what if the Hawks allow DJ Moore to really take flight in this game so the D can focus primarily on the Kitties' run game? Can a strategy like that be successful if they go in the game saying, okay, against the Raiders, we tried to shut down Adams. This time we're like, Moore, he's going to get his. Let's stop the run game. Can that work? What do you think, Brandon?
I think it can work. The one thing that seems counterintuitive about what I want to see is that we've seen some good things from Shelby Harris, but I think that he is he gets too much interior pressure to where I feel like in the last game that we saw, like he was overpowering the Rams left guard, getting into the backfield, and it made it an easy choice for the running back on which way to go. Yeah. And then he would just run through the gap that Harris dominated and bull rushed through. And that's how they were picking up some of their big yards early on. Now they move more toward the outside, but I think that with the Panthers team stuffing up that interior and getting them to the edges, I think that would be the strategy I would take with this Panthers team. The Rams have a lot of speed, and with Powell and the way they were hitting the edges, I don't know if Shenault can be quite that guy, and I don't know if the running backs are quite dynamic enough to be a more outside rush team. So I want to see Poona Ford, Al Woods in that interior and plugging up the middle, and so that way those linebackers can fill the gaps behind them and stop the run that way early.
Okay. How about you, Clinton? What do you think? Let DJ just mostly one-on-one, little shading here and there, but focus on the run game. Can that strategy work, or do you think that's a terrible idea? What do you got?
No, I think it's the idea, and it's not I think DJ Moore is a very good wide receiver. Sure. Very talented. But I think you have to go. We're not stopping the run. And we have to. That's the thing they're going to do, right? So
somebody has to get the ball to DJ Moore is the thing.
That's
and they don't have,
as you were talking.
Yeah, sure, but Sam Darnold. Darnold's not terrible, and frankly, DJ Moore's been better with him than the last 3 or 4 other people trying to throw a ball to him. So he's better with him. So that says something. It says something about the competency of Sam Darnold versus some of the other the Walkers and Mayfield, who's playing tonight after 48 hours on the Rams, which is so strange. With all that, I do think, you framed him up as a gadget guy earlier, Laviska, and he is. And we've been talking about Jaguars and how similar they are to Panthers. I think the arc of Laviska is actually pretty interesting, that he didn't catch on with the Jaguars team, and he's super dynamic. Like he is that wide receiver 3 that I was hoping D. Eskridge would be, and maybe still can be. But he seems to be finding more opportunities with this Panthers team. So being used a bit more wisely, just getting a good amount of touches. So yes, we gotta stop the run, because I think Foreman is good. I think Chuba is an average back, but that's still pretty good. I think Foreman's a better than average back. I think
both of them are better than who we probably will be starting this.
Likely, I would swap right now for sure. Right. I mean, I think Foreman's actually a good NFL back.
Oh yeah.
So, but I actually worry about Laviska getting, if we're selling out and they're doing a lot, we've got lots in the box and they're using his speed wide. That's what I would do. I think and that keeps the passes super short and super 70% and up completion for maybe even 80 because you're throwing so close to the line of scrimmage. That's what I would do. But it also doesn't matter. It's like if we've got to go more, we play a ton of zone. If we have to go, we've said it before, if we've got to go more man and then load the box up to stop the friggin' run. Well, this is the team to do it against. You're home. And you're in your environment, and Sam Darnold's not that good of a quarterback. So do that. But will we? I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. The KJ said a big problem was they were setting it up to where Woolen was having to stop the run. And he's like, why isn't my man Woolen defending receiver? Why have we lined it up this way to where Woolen keeps getting a spot where he's not doing what he's best at? And I thought that was a pretty good point, and kind of goes with what you're saying. If we just play man on the wideouts and let the other dudes take the gaps, that's gonna affect some things in a positive way, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, take the risk, right? I'm not saying that's the plan versus Pat Mahomes, because you probably have a different plan versus Pat Mahomes, but it ain't. So like, why not put us out on an island, if you will? And if we're gonna do that, by the way, how about more Trey Brown? How about a dude who's definitely stickier? But I'm sure we'll get to it. So let's keep on going.
Next question. Here we go. This one to Clinton. Continuing with Kitty Hawk. What if the Hawks their O is forced to be one-dimensional again? Of course, the flagship talked about this quite a bit. Can a top flight passing game be enough to make you feel good about succeeding in this game? Now, they are 30th against the pass by DVOA, but still, I mean, what does it mean if we can't do much on the run, but our top flight pass, is that good enough to succeed in this game? What do you think?
Maybe. And the qualifier for me is I'm okay. I'm 100% okay with being like, I'm not going to give my score. We win this game by outpacing this team because we're better offensively. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay if we give up points along the way. I'm okay with that. We still need to not put it on Geno's back to make miraculous off the back foot throws because people are in his face within 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
he
played. So like, if I don't expect to run the ball well. It'll be, and again, last time we got back on and I was like, it wasn't that bad. The running, and if you look at the stats too, our yards per carry and all that, it actually wasn't that bad. So it's like, if we could just be with the status of the running backs, if we could be okay, you're still going to run the ball a little bit. I'd much prefer to be like, okay, that's what we think it's going to be right now with the caliber of backs and the lack of pass blocking grades being rubbish. Let's get the addition. Brandon, you brought up the PFF grades of the offensive linemen when we talked on 3 and 3 out.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yes, sure. But what element of that is because Geno was just freaking unbelievable and like was, a dude's tagging his underwear and he's still getting out of there and throwing a ball downfield and a 72% completion rate.
Oh, like, right. For the positive
right.
pass blocking grades. Right.
Right. I feel like he saved their what's. So like, that's the part, Phil, for me is like, can the pass blocking be just like, when you see it type thing? It's like, if it could be just okay, he's got a little more time,
tough.
More often.
It's tough to block when everybody knows you're probably passing, right? It's pretty tough.
Yes. And we still could be better at it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. 13 personnel, like the chips, like just let's do those things. So that's why I think it's a maybe for me. Let's get the pass blocking markedly better. Let's know when we see it. Because then I think we run away with this game. Because I think we score quite a number of touchdowns, probably 4 or 5.
Brandon, can you feel good about us succeeding if we're mostly one-dimensional, even if it's top flight? And why are you terrified about Geno's bruised right shoulder?
Oh yeah,
did he bruise it since the last game? Because he seemed to play just fine.
It just showed up on the report today, and somebody mentioned that it might have happened in the Rams game, but he was practicing yesterday, and then today he was limited with a.
And he threw a dart to close out the game to DK, so he's going to be fine.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that. That makes me feel better.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't watched him in practice this week, but the last time I saw him, he looked fine.
Okay, I snuck that one in there. How do you feel if we're mostly one-dimensional? Do you feel like we can succeed well if it's
I think so. The defensive line, apart from Brian Burns, is the guy that you have to worry about the most with their defensive line. And so if the run game isn't successful, that's the guy that you're worrying about being in the backfield consistently. But I also, based on what we saw with the tight ends staying into block and giving those guys extra help, maybe on Burns specifically, or he's also, he lines up more, he'll be more across Charles Cross more often than Abe Lucas, correct? And I feel like with the boot action, you're going away from him anyway. So I think that, that with the success that they have with some of those boots and running those, that they can stay away from Burns and have success going down the field that way. So yeah, I think they can. I think they can be relatively one-dimensional based on this Carolina secondary. And
secondary,
it's the secondary that
I'm really good corner and one terrible one is the way I've been seeing it framed.
Yeah, one okay corner. I mean, I don't know about really good, but he's good-ish, right?
Yeah.
With Horn.
Yeah.
But I have way more confidence in our receivers versus those cornerback matchups and the tight end matchups too. So I think that being one-dimensional is probably a good way to have success against this Carolina defense.
I like your boot idea because their interior pressure is pretty irritating. Leonidas and some of those guys seem to always be disrupting. Yeah.
Derek Brown,
pretty
disruptive. Not a lot of sacks, but disruptive.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get to it more, but I'm still like, I kind of feel, I don't know this. I think this team's going to eat a little bit inside. I think I'm not a huge fan of our interior offensive line. It's been super wishy-washy. We still got rookies at the anchors there. Nerves.
If we're playing Homer, if Homer's getting most of the back snaps, that could be helpful, right? For picking up some pressures. That might be a positive there. All right, feed the kitty. Of course, that's like if you're gonna raise money for a charity or something. Sure. People feed the kitty. You get that.
Fill the boot.
Yeah, there you go. This question here for you, Brandon. What if Carolina stubbornly keeps feeding their rested running backs in this game? They've had a week off. Now, this almost isn't a what if because we got to expect that's going to happen, but I've made a what if. What are the chances we can make them starve while they're trying so badly to eat? And how is it possible? Maybe I asked a question that I already did earlier, but if they're determined to run, can we stop them? I feel like I kind of asked this earlier, but is there something else we need to add on that?
Well, when you say stubbornly, it makes me think that they're only doing it because that's the best potential that they have for success, which means we're doing a good job shutting other things down.
Yeah.
And if we're, in my dream world, getting out to an early 10-point, 2-touchdown lead, then I think that if they're stubbornly handing off the football, that I can live with. It's the kind of rushing success that comes along with maybe being in close games that I'm a little bit more worried about with them.
Yeah. Thank you for saving my repeat question because I just realized that was a little, but if they're stubbornly, like we're in the lead and they still keep going to run, which it seems like they might do that. How can we make them starve while they're still trying to eat, Clinton?
It's a two for Tuesday here. I think I don't even know what day it is today.
Thursday.
Even though it's Thursday, two for Tuesday. Number one is like, hey, we do want to load the box, but the dude who's most like Jamal Adams is Ryan Neal, right? So the guy that can come down there, and Ryan Neal's pretty fun, right? Like we like him because he flies around. We like him because, he's in the mix. He's not afraid to go hit. So that's one way, is just like put Neal into positions where he's kind of playing that extra linebacker role, which is obviously down the box, right? So the box safety. Do a lot of that because I think he's our best bet at making those tackles, just being sure about that because he will bring his hat. The other thing is, I think we need more Mafe. Like you look at our edge guys, and it's like, all right, Bruce Irvin, Taylor. You're not really taking Nwosu off the field, right? Mafe's out of the four of them. I mean, maybe Nwosu and Mafe are tied with like edge setting. And Bruce is okay
Bruce
with it.
was
But
doing pretty good at that in the second half, according to KJ. He was
right. Well, that was part of the miracle wand, and they fixed it, and partially again, to me again, they've done that for weeks, and they kind of oscillate, or if Bloomy's listening, vacillate between the different fronts and different looks. But I think Mafe, for all he has not done with, like, would he have 2 sacks early in the year, and sacks are the glory stat, et cetera, et cetera. So people are like, oh, he doesn't look like he's panning out. Well, first of all, pump the brakes. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
Like even Aiden Hutchinson has 6, right? I realized that's, triple 2, but let's pump the brakes a little bit on judging a rookie edge. But he's been a better run defender than people thought he would be. He's actually pretty good at it. I think he's very good at setting the edge. So just that's the recipe for me, is like, they're going to run the ball. Like, not gonna be a lot of Taylor, and Irvin sometimes overcommits the inside, and you're not taking Nwosu off the field. So what does that leave? That leaves Mafe to play more downs. Let's look for that. And he's good at setting the edge. He does that well. And then, the linebackers behind that do their job. It's containing what we know they're going to do. They're going to pound the ball. Yeah. That's what they do.
So what are the chances? I think this is what I intended to folk to drive home. What are the chances that you guys think we actually can hold them back in the run? You think it's like really slight? Do you think we had a decent chance? I'm pretty sure Adam would say nearly no chance.
I think it's a decent chance, because they've now swung the pendulum back to where the problem was when they fixed it the last time.
Right.
And knew that that's what they needed to do. Now, I feel like the big problem was the Raiders game specifically, because they felt like they needed to worry about Devontae Adams more than fixing the run game.
That was a
and
mistake.
So and they probably thought that, hey, maybe against the Rams, we just, let's try this out, because they're playing JV squad players, we should be able to do this, and they still found out that they couldn't. So I feel like the formula should be very obvious on what they need to do, the fronts that KJ's saying that they need to use to stop the run. And you do have DJ Moore in this game, but DJ Moore is not Devontae Adams.
Yeah. Do you think we can do it? Do you think we can, Clinton? Can we hold them back if they're stubbornly running?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we did it to, Saquon Barkley when Barkley was hot as a pistol, right? So
nobody's hurt. So same guys, right?
So do that. Yeah. Do that.
Okay. Let's go to your next question here.
Nice.
Next question, Clinton, on Feed the Kitty. What if some Hawks can feed a bit themselves in this matchup? Who has a great chance of shining when the Hawks meet Kitties this Sunday? You'll be live and in person. Who do you think can really shine in this one?
Okay.
I haven't talked much offense, so
grab it because
this isn't your wish, because that's different. That's like, this is like, who do you think really has a great chance of shining? Like, you're expecting great things in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a bit chalky, and where they are, but they are. Let's see, right? So they've been getting better, but they're 21st for a reason. They're not particularly good against the pass. So, I don't know if JC Horn's going to get locked up, or if he travels. I don't really know that.
It doesn't matter.
It likely doesn't matter. I think the answer is going to be a bit of a repeat button on this one, in the sense of like, I think it's going to be the Stars. I don't have like
you're thinking DK and Lockett, our 2 highest paid guys, are going to just go off.
I do. I think it's at least one of them. I really do. And again, could somebody else get the touchdown? Can Goodwin get a touchdown? Can Fant continue some of that? Sure. I don't think the Panthers put on such a front that that half the field's taken away, or someone's on an island. Like, there's no Revis Island out there. For me, it really gravitates back towards Geno is having a very special season that's under the radar for several reasons. He's in the PNW. They're only 75. If they had won, one of those weird games they lost, he really ought to be in the MVP a discussion, like legitimately the numbers he's putting up. So Gino is going to find his dudes, right? So if I had to pick one, I'll go with Lockett because he just is he's a little bit more steady Eddie with the approach than DK is. So what does he have for now? 5 weeks in a row with a touchdown, I think, right? I would I'll look it up and maybe part of PNW
DK's had
Pop Stars.
back-to-back weeks with the 100.
Yeah, which is
have you been watching this team, Clinton? The DK is going to be fed. Geno Smith to DK is the matchup, and they are developing this chemistry. He was 8 for 8 this last week on his receptions. So this is going to be a DK Metcalf game. It's going to continue with Geno. It's probably going to be 10 catches, 150 yards, and we are going to be continuing to sing the praises of both Geno and DK Metcalf.
Welcome to the All Positive Brandon podcast here.
I'll take Tyler. Brandon's got DK.
That's and you're both going to be there to be part of the Geno choir. Either way, joining together as you sing Geno.
Yes. Looking forward to that a lot too.
It's going to be a good time. All right, next category. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. This one goes to, I just wanted to say that on a podcast. This one goes to Brandon. What if our pass pro can get clever? With Burns and some good interior pass rushers coming to visit, how can we Jerry Mouse their Tomcats, right? And do we have some clever moves to in our pass protection? You got some thoughts there? Some things we can do to handle these wild and crazy pass rushers?
I mean, if the clever moves are the things that we've kind of brought up already, which is, boot out away from that pressure from Brian Burns and use a steady dose of Travis Homer in the backfield to protect against any blitzes or the interior pressure that gets by our porous interior offensive line. Those could be the tricks, but I feel like those are just like the regular answers.
If I'm going to get you to be negative, Brandon, I got to get you to bring up our favorite center. That's all I got to do.
No, I'm not going to.
On the All Positive Brandon podcast, I just got to get you thinking about our center a little bit.
No, I'm not going there.
You're not going to do it.
And the other, well, I'll leave something for Clinton too, because they do have the capabilities of helping with the pressure in other ways too.
Yeah, some clever strategies. We want to go Jerry Mouse against these Tomcats. What do you got?
Oh gosh, I still wish we could screen a little bit. We can't, so we won't.
I was feeling so positive. I was leaving the tight end screens to you, Clint.
Well, we tried a tight end screen, but then Austin Blythe decided not to block, right? So we talked about that last week too.
Homer can get some screens. I feel like he'd be
maybe. I listen. I want us. It's a team that gets pressure. They got the ability to get pressure, wrap the gut.
It's wild and crazy pressure too.
This is a good. Again, they're good. Like this. It's I know the record's not great. Cool.
Good.
They still have a lot of players, man. They're going to cause their own forms of havoc. In a traditional world, you would say, cool, let them get upfield and think they have a jailbreak or two and burn them with a screen or two. For the love of Pete, we can't screen. So, I mean, it would be so cool. Brandon, we're going to be there live. What should we do? We should call it now. Like, what do we do? Do the shirts come off? Do we do a dance? What do we do? Do we chug a beer? Like, if we execute a successful screen live, we probably should promise something to the listeners and to the universe and the multiverse for that matter. But like,
grab a big screen door and just smash it over your head. Wear it.
Style,
you guys all go wearing a screen like from a window and wear it over your neck.
Yeah, we just smash through it. So it's what Brandon said that I think we will see a lot of the boots and a lot of the fake toss left, boot right, and then you got the drags. They've been working. Do the things that work. The 13 personnel do the things that work. The cherry on top will legitimately be like, can we execute one screen and then maybe get greedy and get two? Let them think they got the fun jailbreak. It happens to us all the time, and especially last few years. And then 30 yards later, like, oh crap, just once. That would be so freaking cool to see live. So that's the answer.
That's perfect. Here, kitty, kitty, and then right over the top.
Exactly.
Okay, Clinton, what if our Hawks can catch one key cat, one of these cats in this game, and maybe a player we've yet to focus on, someone you're concerned about? They've got a key player we can hold back. Who will it be? Who do you want to pick, and how might we do it? A key Panther. Let's stop this one.
Okay, we've talked a lot about the obvious dudes out there. I think I'm actually going to go to the defensive side of the ball here, because we've talked, there's other dudes there that I think Terrace Marshall's a pretty okay, wide receiver into his own right. So, but I want to flip it over to the other side. We have not talked about their linebackers much, but I think they're pretty good. And specifically, I think Shaq Thompson's a pretty good middle linebacker. So can we, I love the layers concepts. Can we just get them caught in some zone action where Gino has a dealer's choice, and it can limit.
He's been so good on that this year too.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Which comes off the boot, which comes off the things we've talked about, right? They all kind of play on each other, but some of those levels concepts where Gino can choose to go in front of the linebacker or place it over the top to expose Shaq Thompson, and those are things that we can do on the boot, and we probably will. And because I don't see a lot of step back, 7-yard drop stuff we're not protecting well, and these guys can get after the quarterback. So I do expect a lot of the stuff on the move, and you could pair that with some levels concepts, exposing Shaq Thompson, not because he's bad, just because that's really hard to defend. So that'd be really kind of, I think, complementary thinking to get the ball over the top, just like we did with Bobby Wagner on the first touchdown of the game, where Tyler Lockett snuck in behind him and exposed number 45.
I love that Shane Waldron style. How about you, Brandon? You got somebody we can catch?
Clinton kind of stole my answer, because I think that running routes at Shaq Thompson might be the way to go, rather than running the football at him, because in run defense, he's really good. I think that he's going to be a problem if we look back and say, man, we tried running the ball and it just wasn't working. It's because, there are guys like Brown up front and Shaq Thompson plugging those holes, and
Damian Wilson's pretty good too, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I think, again, I go to the passing game. Shaq Thompson could be part of that too. Are we going to see Marquise Blair have a revenge game with the Carolina Panthers? I don't know. He hasn't been getting a whole lot of snaps, but who else do we have to worry about? I feel like we've mostly answered it between
offense, like Ian Thomas, or do you have any guys you're concerned about we got to deal with on offense? We're pretty well covered them.
I think that we have to worry about the weird Sam Darnold backup level against the Seahawks defense, weird good game, because he could be Colt McCoy, and we could be cursing the name of Sam Darnold in the same way that we do Colt McCoy, and that we just somehow make him look like he is the first pick, the first round pick that everybody expected him to be. So that would be, if I'm going to negative town, that's my one concern, is that with the running game, if they're stubbornly sticking to the running game and it's actually working, and it's freeing up the play action pass for him to hit those big downfield shots to DJ Moore.
Oh yeah.
That's my biggest concern. How do we stop it? We bottle up that run game.
Right,
I do want to add one more thing too. Thank you, because I'm wagging my pencil.
I saw the pencil, because he was going right into my final question. The way he was framing it was kind of funny. So go ahead.
Oh, no worries. I mean, I was going to actually maybe this is the final question. So stop me. If I'm doing it too.
It's about
He's bringing up Sam Darnold, so I don't know if that's a little tip there, but it's about fears. Why don't you get into it, and then I think that'll be my answer.
We'll give it a shot. Here we go.
More fair.
Here we go, Brandon. What if we talk about fears? Cats. I don't know about you guys. They fascinate me and they terrify me. That's just cats a little bit. They're kind of like this team. Why should we fear or not fear this team of kittens? Close it out. I guess Clinton's all raring to go, so we'll go Clinton, then Brandon. Just switch it up here.
I'll wag my pencil. So I probably would have answered this differently if I didn't think about the thing before, but now it's the thing I want to talk about, and I think it still fits. Last week versus the Rams, we actually did pretty well against the running backs. We did pretty well against. We didn't do very well against.
Their yard per carry was like 3.4 or something.
Right.
If memory serves.
We didn't do very well against wide receivers running the ball, and we didn't do very well against quarterbacks running the ball. And Sam Darnold can run the ball.
That's right.
So that's the other piece of the fear of how does a lesser thrower of the football keep his team in it. It's that could be very frustrating if we turn around and Darnold has, he ran the ball 7 times for 62 yards. Like that's a very, exactly. That's a very possible line we'll see where 3 or 4 of those are chain movers.
Yeah.
Because he does that. And that's several minutes off the clock if you just, put the aggregate together. Right. Which keeps Gino off the field and Gino, this team runs through Gino. Right. So that's a fear of mine, Phil, is that Sam uses his feet and he's pretty good at that. And it takes away that one extra possession we might need to either run away with it and tuck it or maybe make another comeback. And we fall one short because they possess time through Darnold.
Yeah. How about you, Brandon? Why should we fear and or not fear these kitties this week?
Well, it's a combination of things of why we should fear them but I think the thing that I worry about the most is that they don't have much to lose and they're in a division that is still relatively competitive.
Yeah.
And so, when you brought up the punter that I don't even want to bring up his name because we've seen some trick plays from him in the past, and I could see something like that being just one of those moments that helps to flip the game, some weird special teams play that that allows them to stick into the game at the worst possible time. And that's what I would fear.
Okay. All right. Well, that wraps it up. And this offense wasn't good, but the reason they scored and were on the field is because the Donkeys were so terrible they couldn't hardly burn any time. And I don't think our offense will have that same problem. I'm hoping, but
we shouldn't have as many 3 and outs as the Denver offense does.
No, because we're like second in the league with the least amount, right? So we're quite good at that.
And you had a good stat on the Seahawks flagship about how bad they are on 1st and 3rd down, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that made me feel better. So thank you for that.
Well,
too.
I'm glad it made you feel better. It gave me concern because of how our defense has been on 1st and 3rd down, and so if they can be just a little bit better than 31 and 32, that could allow them to stay on the field more often.
We have a way of making teams that are bad at stuff look good at stuff. Our defense sometimes. Yeah.
I will say quickly that I've only been I'll listen to it tonight, about 10 minutes into the flagship show, and Adam's
the interception rant.
Adam's tirade at the beginning is one for the ages. So if you're listening to this and you don't listen to the flagship, which, great, we love you. Thank you. Go back and at the very least, give a spin for the first 10 minutes and just enjoy the let's put it this way. There's more catfish flying than there is that at a Pike Place there, right? Is that where they throw the fish, that Pioneer Square? It's one of those landmarks. I'm not a Seattleite, but I know they throw the fish.
Pike Place, Mark. Can we say that he wasn't happy for Bobby, like a lot of Bobby fans? We can say that. All right, gentlemen, it's prediction time. Last week, Clinton totally nailed it. He was on it on his spread. He was exactly right with 4 points. And his wish was that Gino would get 3 touchdowns. And we know Gino got 3 touchdowns. That's pretty impressive. I must say that I think that moves Clinton up to a 6-3 lead. So Brandon's got to really move to catch up here at the end of the season.
It's getting late.
Brandon gets to go first. Brandon, your wish and your score prediction.
Yeah. So what do I get if I end up, or when I end up winning this wish competition?
The wish competition?
Yeah.
I mean, I will recognize.
Okay, so nothing. So if I win, it doesn't matter.
Lots of words from the protector of positivity.
I didn't want to win the thing anyway because
you want me to buy something? Is that what you want me to do, Brandon?
What thing is there to win, Clinton? I don't have to pout about any of it.
It's a very real thing. It's going to show up in your locker
or something. If you need to have a stop on the way sometime to Seattle, I don't know.
My what if Superhawk in this game against the Kitties, DK Metcalf.
Okay. That makes
over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns in this game. It's a big one for DK. and we're going to be coming out of this game talking about just how much this.
I think you're going to get this one. I actually think you're going to get this one.
Yeah, this relationship between DK and Gino is blossoming. And
Adam, the relationship between DK and Adam has just exploded. I've noticed
it has too. It's worn off on me a little bit. It has me drinking the Kool-Aid and believing it.
Okay, so what's your score?
My score for this game: Seahawks 27, Panthers 16.
Okay, he's going for
double-digit victory. We're getting back to it.
Victory.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Clinton, what do you got?
Okay, so my wish is Geno Smith 4 total touchdowns by land or by air. I think it'll be 3-1. That'd be fun. But I'll just settle for four from Geno. And yeah, I think they're going to the why is I think they're going to be like, let's just motorboat this team and see if they can catch up. I hope that's what they finally decide to do.
Strategy idea.
Yeah, they should motorboat this team and see if they can catch up, because it will probably lead to turnovers. So with that, I think they actually do it this time. I am still oddly nervous that the game is stupid for some reason, but I don't think it's going to be. I actually think we win this one going away. I think we win it pretty big, and I got a 38-21 victory for our Seahawks.
Wow. Just when I thought Brandon had a real positive score, you're going 3 scores. 3 scores.
Yeah, he's not the guy on Price is Right that sees all the big bids and then bids $1. No,
he went honest. He went honest. This is what he thinks is going to happen. It's a real prediction. He didn't just try to win. So winning wasn't the only thing for Clinton. I got to give him credit there, because he could have gone for a 12-point victory, right? Instead of a 17-pointer. I like it. I think these are very possible, but I'm still scared.
Me too.
All right, gentlemen, anything we need to find out? Probably listening to this on Friday. You guys will be traveling. We'll look for you on the game. I wish I could be there, but I know several guys are going to meet up with you.
We'll be the ones with the chains, with the screen.
The screen.
My what if Superhawk was almost Travis Homer with 2 successful screens.
I could see that. Just wear screens. Like, just get some screen material and wrap in a screen.
A screen cape.
Whole screen cape family.
Screen cape would be nice. It's almost like chain metal, but like, really weak and does nothing. I mean, kind of
where to get really terrible, great ideas. Keep listening to the What If show. All right.
And I think with that.
Yeah. So what if we say go Hawks?
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.